gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time to gather the whole family around for the Torah Hour of Power. I'm your friendly host, Levi Ben Avraham, aka Luke Ford, and this is the esteemed and august Rabbi Herschel Rabbs Reamer.
Hello everybody, and it's hot in here.
I'll open up a window.
Okay.
Open up the door.
There you go. We're coming to you live from LA.
From the Torah Corral.
In January, it's like 150 degrees here.
And we've got theme music. So this is really exciting. This is royalty-free theme music.
Can they hear this?
We'll find out. Sound is funny. Mashiach, Mashiach, Mashiach. Na 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 na.
No, we
want us to choose that one.
Wrong religion.
Greg says it's getting weird. We got Greg, the Russian Jewish American.
Okay,
Boy Wonder.
Let me start saying, hey James, hey Greg, Esther, how you doing? Hector, hello.
Grignoni.
That's Hector.
Ivry Goddess 1989.
Oh, that's Noel. How's it going?
Why does Noel call? Oh, Noel's a woman?
Yeah.
Who's Yavol?
And oh, Brandon, how's it going? And Henry, how's it going? Hello. Who? What?
Yavol. Y-A-V-O-L.
I don't know that person.
Oh, there's just a whole merry, jolly feel to this week's show. That
and I just want to say that Levi's looking very becoming again with his eyeglasses, straight out of the Blues Brothers. Big influence on him. Always wanted to be Belushi. Now he's going with it. Give it up for Levi.
Thank you, thank you.
So that's it.
So did you have anything from last week that you
Yes, I did. You want to go to that right away?
Sure.
You want to delve right into it? Dive right into that?
Yeah, this week's Torah portion, by the way, is Yitro.
We'll get to that.
And we'll get to it. It's Exodus 19 to Exodus 20, verse 23, if you want to read ahead. But
all right.
Last week's show, we had a lot.
Yeah, a couple of things about last week's show right off the bat.
Yeah.
Okay. There was a couple of questions. I checked the transcripts of the chat room, as I do habitually every Monday night before I go to bed, because I'm that kind of an OCD guy. I can't go to bed until I've read the chat transcript, see what people are saying about me. There was a couple of questions in there, very good. I wanted to touch on them this week.
Yeah.
They were asked by Esther, who's my Facebook wife. She asked an awesome question. And I have to bring everybody up to speed what we were discussing. Last week we were discussing the Holocaust.
Yeah.
And I mentioned that the reason that the Holocaust happened, according to Rabbi Victor Miller, who was my rabbi, is that it was what you call a mita keneged mita. Measure for measure. The Jews were punished for the things that they did that went against Torah, that they were trying to assimilate with the Goyim. And so God created the Holocaust to punish them for those things. And I went through a list of things that I said in the name of Rabbi Miller. For instance, I said the Jews didn't want to appear Jewish anymore, so they stopped wearing their Jewish clothes and they gave up their Jewish names. And so, like Hitler made the Jews add names to their name. Do you know about this? To identify themselves. The women had to call themselves, put Sarah in their name, and the men had to call themselves, don't quote me, I think it was Israel or something. Somebody might remember better. That was one thing, and then since like the Jews didn't want to dress like Jews, and they didn't want to stand out as Jewish, so God made them have a yellow star on their chest. And then I said women didn't want to be sneas anymore. They didn't dress sneas, so they showed their arms, and as a punishment they had numbers put on their arms. So Esther asked a great question in the chat room, and she asked, well, what about the men? The men also had numbers on their arms, but they're not required by the same laws of sneas, right? A man is halakhically allowed to show his arms, so what was the point of that? So I was like, what does Rabbi Miller, how does he explain it? Because I'm not going to try to answer unless I already, saw his answer, and I went to the source of every place that he could have every place he talked about it. I checked with Joyce Youth, I checked some of his books, I went online. I can't find where he says it. Right. There's other people who said it, and what happened in, Rabbs is getting a little old, and you start mixing people together. You know, you remember a topic, you remember somebody, and then you just think that the other person must have said it.
Because it does sound like something Rabbi Miller would say.
Right. On the topic of sneas, this is what he did say, and I read it with my own eyes, that women stopped covering their hair. So what God did, and they stopped dressing sneas, so what God did was he made them shave. You know, the Nazis shaved the women bald. Mm-hmm. You know? And that was like the punishment for the fact that they want to show their head uncovered. So God says, fine, you want to show your hair? I'll take your hair off. Now let's see how good you look. You know, now everybody's going around with the what was that chick's name who did the bald thing?
Britney Spears.
Oh, I didn't even think of her. I was thinking of I can't even think of the woman's name anymore. Where'd you come up with Britney for that?
She shaved her head. When
right, but I was thinking of another one. But it'll come to me later. And they didn't dress modestly, and then God forced them to be naked. And you talked about this yourself, that in the Holocaust,
most of the Jews died naked.
Most of the Jews died naked in a you call it a humiliating way. I never saw where Rabbi Miller talked about the numbers with the arms. Everybody who talks about the numbers with the arms is not Rabbi Miller. I'm only quoting Rabbi Miller, so I'm going to say he never said it. Unless somebody can actually bring it to me, but I can't find it in the books. Unless he said it on a tape that I heard, I don't know that he ever said it. So I say thank you to Esther for catching me on that. That was a good catch. He never said it, and that's my answer. And I only hold by what he said, and I don't know what the numbers are for, according to him. He never talked about it. Okay, so that's what's so funny.
Brooklyn asks, how come this dude with a grey beard is wearing dark glasses? I hope his eyes are fine. My sleep doctor wants me to wear sunglasses at night so that it helps me sleep. So that's the reason for the sunglasses.
Oh, Esther writes the sound is awful, so she probably didn't even hear this one.
Well, she'll get to hear it.
She's going to have to hear it on YouTube tomorrow. All right, the other thing that we talked about, the other thing that she mentioned, she asked about in the chat room was the death penalty. Mm-hmm. And she asked, like, you know, what's Judaism's take on the death penalty? And the thing we were discussing at the time was the shootings in Tucson.
Yeah.
If you remember that.
Yeah.
And we said, because I asked you, I said, you know, 20 years from now, that the guy who did the shootings, you know, who allegedly did them, even if he's found guilty, he's still going to be alive. Even if he's slapped with the death penalty, there's going to be like all these court proceedings and appeals and whatnot, and he's still going to be alive 20 years from now, right?
Right.
I mean, who gets put to death right away in America? Even if you have 100 witnesses see you kill 20 people, you're not going to. It's not like the Old West. Now, in the Old West, you know, in Tucson, 100 years from now, he'd be dead already, and they would just string his ass up, right?
Yeah.
But today, there's just too much. Especially now he's going to be tried in California. Forget it. Never going to be killed. Okay. And I said that if this was according to Torah, mm-hmm. he'd be dead within a month. He'd be dead within a month. And there was questions, well, how does that work? So I wanted to elaborate on that. Also, I wanted to say this. I believe it was my nephew was listening to the broadcast the next day, which mm-hmm. was Tuesday, and he shot me a question, and he asked, "Well, wait a minute. Don't you need to have somebody convicted? You not only have to have two witnesses, which they clearly did in Tucson, but somebody has to warn the person that what they're doing, according to Torah, somebody has to warn the person that what they're doing is halachically not permitted. If nobody did that, then according, you know, then there's room to think that, hey, maybe this person is not guilty and cannot be given the death penalty." So I wanted to talk about all this at once. I thought it was a good topic. You know, let's get this out. The Torah says that when we live in the times of the Beis Hamikdash, we lived in the Eretz Yisrael.